Mike with Mike's Bags. Today I'm reviewing the Voodoo by Rocket Bags. Let's go and dive in, break these bags down. As always, start materials. Slow side. This is that same material, very similar to the materials used on the fast side of the Reynolds Pro Advantage, the BG Viking. It's a super soft material once it breaks in. Speed-wise, this is where things get a little tricky. Typically, this is a 7-speed for me. With my normal throw, it's about a 7-speed. However, with it being a slow side material, you're going to, for me anyway, I throw slow side more than fast. So it does break in more, kind of roughs up more, maybe slows down a touch. Plus, when I throw a material like this, and it's my slow side, I'm not trying to push through, I do adjust my throw. You'll watch here, I have a much more higher loft or arc on my bag, so it lands softer, which means it's going to play slower. And that's where speeds become a little bit kind of wonky and maybe the gray area in there. For me, on my normal throw, it's a 7-speed, but when I'm throwing this bag here, it's probably closer to a 6. I think Rocket Bags calls it a 6. So depending on your throw type is where, and this applies to all materials. Depending on how you throw, speeds can change, and you can change your throw and change the speed. So I call this a 7-speed to be consistent with my scale, but here my throw is not my normal throw, because when I go to faster bags like this, I have to adjust my throw. Otherwise, I got bags just flying off the back. They're hard to control. So I have to change my normal throw to control a bag like this, which it is controllable. You'll see here by adjusting the throw. So if you have a higher arcing bag, a much softer landing bag, this material is very controllable. 7-speed, but I put kind of an asterisk beside it because it's going to play slower if you're throwing a bag like this. Again, it's a very soft material. It's a very hole-friendly material. It's fast, but it has control to it. It's a wonderful material if you want to get up there and just run bags, put bags in the hole. This material shines really well. So 7-speed, 6.5, 7-speed on the slow side for these Voodoos. Fast side, this is that game changer, surefire fast side. 8.5 speed. It's fast. It still has some control to it. It's great for kind of cleaning up messes and pushing through those blockers. So if you do happen to leave a bag short or your opponent throws a bag short, you've got enough speed here to push through, collect that bag, and your bag follow through with it. So we're about a 6.5, 7 on slow, maybe 8.5 on the fast side for these Voodoos for my speed scale. I think Rocket calls it a 6 to 8. So right in that range, 6 to 7 speed on the slow, 8.5 speed on the fast side. That's kind of what you're looking at for these Voodoos here. Template wise, it's a medium template bag. It's got a medium amount of fill in here, maybe even a little bit less than medium, right? It's kind of a little looser side of medium, which does give the bag a flop to it. It has flop here. And these two materials are very loose, pliable materials, not a thick material. So you're going to have anytime you use these two materials, you're going to have a floppier bag. I love the amount of flop in this bag that Rocket Bags put in this bag because it just gives the bag a ton of forgiveness. If you don't throw a flat bag, this bag has almost no kick to it. It doesn't punish you with a kick. It's not going to bounce or move. The floppiness gives the bag that super soft landings. When the bag hits the board, it flattens out, runs fairly straight up the board. It also gives that bag that forgiveness around the hole. Because of the flop, you don't need much of that bag to go over the hole if you're missing left or right. And I talk about landing that rectangular box, that landing zone you can land your bag in and still get the bag in the hole. This bag has a much larger than normal landing zone because of that flop. When that bag gets up, that corner just dips in. It doesn't take much for it to dip in, grab, hook that corner, and pull the bag back in. And you'll see here, I was trying to intentionally kind of miss bags when I could, left or right. And you'll see that when I do get enough of the bag there, it grabs it, pulls that bag back in. If it happens to leave the bag hanging there, not hard to collect. These two materials are very hole friendly. So if there's a bag hanging there, as long as you have another bag left, you can definitely go get them. They're not hard to collect on that. The fill in here is a mixed fill, but it's mostly a flat disc fill. There's flat disc, there's some round here, but it's mostly flat disc. And honestly, for a faster bag like this, I'm okay with that flat disc. I typically don't like a lot of flat disc in my bags for the most part, but what that does, it gives the bag that forgiveness. I talked about the flop giving it forgiveness. The disc also gives it forgiveness landing. So very little bounce, very little movement. Again, a very soft landing bag. So even if you come in with a tilt and angle, whatever, the bag kind of flattens out. It kind of folds up, flattens out, and just runs through the board. So it takes away most, if not all, that punishing kick that you get on some other bags that have more of a bouncier fill or more of a stickier, more of a grippier material that'll grab the board and kick on you. Super forgiving with the flop and the fill in here. And that flat fill gives the bag that compressible grip where you can grab it and the fill locks down, the fill doesn't move. Sometimes when you get more beads in there, you kind of get an unstable grip and the bag's moving on you. So when you grab a bag like these Voodoos here, you lock it down, especially a butterfly grip, you lock it down, have complete control of how that bag comes out of my hand so I can manipulate it just like I want to on there. These bags are also ACO stamped. I had to find the ACO stamp. They're ACO stamped. If you play in the ACO, you can definitely throw these Voodoos. Let's go and jump in and talk about playability. And it's a fairly straightforward bag, where for most people, this is a bag you're getting up there and you're just looking to run the hole, put your 4 bags in, outscore your opponent, get your 12 points every round, and just outlast them. It does great at that. It also does a good job at that get around game. So if your opponent's throwing blockers up there for you, you've got the floppiness here. You can step out and you can go slow or fast side, whichever you want, and you kind of come into the corner of their bag. You're going to smash up a corner up, bully their bag out of the way, take whole control, or put your bag in. So if you're a player that doesn't really have a cut, roll, flop, any of that shot shaping skills, but you want a bag that'll help you deal with an opponent's blockers, that's what this Voodoo does. And I think that's where it really shines, is if you're playing against an opponent who plays a dirty style game and you don't want to match them in that, and you don't really want to push through them, and you've got enough speed on the fast side to flip over, even the slow side, and push their blockers. You want to keep it clean, you can do that. But if you want to leave their blockers there and make them work to collect them, you've got the ability to step out and do that get around game with them really well. You do have some control here. You can see here, when I throw the bags really soft, I can get the bag to stop and land a little short for me. So if you have a really high, soft throw, you can play this more like a control bag. If you tend to throw faster bags that maybe are at like an 8-speed slow side or 9-speed slow side, and you want more of a control bag, you can step out of these and this becomes a control bag for you. If you throw more of those mid-speeds, the 5-speed hybrid materials, this becomes more of a little bit faster bag. But still, you have the control. I could put a block up here if I needed to. It's not a great blocker because it's not a really sticky material. It's a very easy bag to push through if your opponent's just trying to push through and clean it up. But it is a visual obstacle. It can be a blocker if you need to. And collectability, even though they are floppy, talking about cording up, if you just come a little bit more in the middle, be more intentional, come more to the middle of the bag. Don't just hit the corner. Come more here. You can clip it. It'll ride up really well. I mean, again, plenty of speed on the fast side to push through multiple bags. If you have them there, the bags, because they do have the flop and fold up, they're not bunching up in the hole, so the bags really melt in really nice. So you can collect and push through multiple bags. If you got 2 bags hanging there and you can throw your push bag, they're not going to bunch or clog. They're going to go in really well. If you like fast bags that have a little bit of control to them, I think you're going to love these Voodoos. I had a blast on it. I'm not a fast bag thrower. For me, this is about as fast as I typically want to go if I'm going to fast bags. But I do like having a bag like this in my backpack. So if I get to a blind draw or a switch hole, and I get a partner who just only wants to throw fast bag, I could pull this out because I can still play this bag and have a little bit of control to it, and they can play their fast, hole winning style bag with no problem whatsoever. It's also great if boards are really you just get where boards are slow. Maybe get a little stickiness to them, a little slow, and you want a bag that's going to still move. These Voodoos will do that really well. That leads me to availability. Rocket Bags has a website, rocketcornholebags.com. As always, I'll put a link down in the description for you guys. The bags were $69.99, $70. It was $8.99 shipping. So $70 for the bags, $9 shipping, $79 shipped to you. Phenomenal price for an ACO stamp bag. You're looking at that lower price point. High quality bags. Definitely recommend checking them out, especially if you're a fast bag thrower and you're wanting to step down a little bit to have a bag with a little more control. You can use these. If you're kind of that hybrid style bag thrower and you want just a bag that's a touch faster, it's gonna play a little bit quicker for you, you definitely step up to these. So it really does kind of bridge the gap between those hybrid bag throwers and those fast bag throwers. Definitely check them out. If you throw in the Voodoos, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about them. As always, I thank you guys so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.